Hey everyone! All right. I'm so excited because, okay, so this is special. I am just meeting Andrea Freeman. And by the way, go follow her on social media. I'm so excited. We connected through Interview Connections. By the way, shout out to the Interview Connections, the IC team. And thank you so much for connecting me with this amazing goddess. And we are having a conversation with visionaries in their industry around a loaded question. And if you've been following any of my social media accounts, you know what this question is, but I'm going to restate it. It's true or false. Your energy has nothing to do with your level of sales and productivity. So we're posing that question to you, Andrea, but before we have you go in on it and let us know what your point of view is, I want my viewers and all of our followers to know, what's your point of view? Where are you coming from? So if you could tell us who you are, what you do, and where people can go to find you so they could get more into like, okay, I see why she's saying what she's saying.
Yes. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. I am so excited to be here and to be having this conversation because I think now more than ever in business ownership, this conversation is crucial as we're coming out of the time that we're coming out of, as we're existing in the moment that we're existing in. It's just so important. And I think the world is ready for this conversation. So I'm here for it. I'm super excited. But who I am is I am a mindful business coach. I'm the CEO and founder of Andrea Freeman Consulting. And that is a company that helps entrepreneurs around the world to scale their businesses to multiple 6 and 7 figures through authentic thought leadership, through visibility, through meaningful connections. So, like I said, I'm totally here for this conversation. Like, this is my jam. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. And could you restate that URL one more time so people can go and open up in another window?
Yeah. So my business is called Andrea Freeman Consulting. And actually in the space of visibility, one of the main areas where I really dwell with my clients, I'm actually running a free masterclass starting on the 19th. So if anybody else in your community is interested in increasing that visibility through podcast guesting, which you get the power of, right? That's how we're connected, is through our booking agent. I'm running a masterclass challenge starting on the 19th. It's called the Podcast Powerhouse Masterclass.
Yes, this is so perfect. So keep the momentum going, everyone, right? My challenge is next week, and then you can go right into Andrea's. Let this be a transformational July. Wow. Perfect. So, of course, we're talking. There's no such thing as coincidence, or at least I'm a firm believer of that. With that being said, coming back to the question, true or false, Andrea, what do you think? Your energy has nothing to do with your level of sales and productivity. Is that true or false?
So it's so false. Your energy has everything to do with your productivity and with your sales and with your bottom line and with every result that you produce in not only your business, but really every area of your life. So what I work with my clients on a concept that I call energetic marketing, which is really primarily focused on the idea and centered around the idea that people buy your energy, they buy your vibe way before they ever buy the product or the service that you're making available in the world. So our number one job as entrepreneurs, when we really get that, when we're like standing firmly in that belief, is to make sure that we are tending to and cultivating joy, happiness, an energy of being that is in alignment with the things that we want to produce, right? So we can always be looking as business owners at what we don't have, right? This is a very traditional way to set goals in our businesses, right? And very much what we're taught as we grow up from little people and what we learn from our mentors and our parents and society really tells us to kind of go outside of ourselves to look for the things that we don't have, right? That I must be missing something and answer somewhere out there. But I really love to flip the script, really get people to a very full place of understanding just how much they have to give and how much they have to serve the world, so that we get really clear about, I call this actually hosting your life or hosting your business. We get really, really clear about what it is to be a host, because we can be a guest in our life, right? Or a guest in our business. And when we're a guest, like at a party, we don't have a say in who's invited, about the food that's served, about the music that's playing, right? We just show up and we take what's offered. But when we're the host, we can create something that's authentically ours, something that is an authentic representation of ourselves and our gifts in the world and what we have to share. And ultimately, what I believe is our purpose that we're here to fulfill in our lifetime. So to be a host, if that's something that sounds like I'm ready to jump in the driver's seat with that, here's what you're doing. First, you're going to honor your why. You're going to get really clear about why you do what you do. And I feel like there's so much conversation these days about having a why. Everybody kind of has a broad understanding, I need to have a why. But you need to do more than have a why. You need to honor your why. So how am I waking up every single day and incorporating this in my mission, in my vision statements, in my goals, in all of my visibility opportunities? Like, how am I weaving this in such a way that it becomes part of my brand culture and my brand identity, right? That I become synonymous with my why. That's the level of ownership that we're talking about, right? So you got your why and you're honoring it. And then you're owning who you truly are. You're getting yourself filled up to that space of like, really how very much you are here to thrive in the world and profit in your business. And you're not keeping any part of yourself at arm's length in your business anymore, right? It's not about, like, so very often when we think about becoming visible and showing up in our businesses and scaling and getting the messaging out there, right? We start to worry like how that's going to be received. That self-doubt creeps in, the, imposter syndrome. Everybody's talking about imposter syndrome these days. It's almost like fashionable to have imposter syndrome. We are shifting that out of the way and really holding space for how amazing we are, right? And then you have to do some work to shift that. So that's shifting your perspective, right? So that's the daily practices that you cultivate, whatever's in alignment for you to get yourself into that space where you can own all of your gifts and you can own all of what you have to share with the world. So whether that looks like meditation, or whether that looks like affirmations, or going for a walk in nature, or eating, healthy food, whether you're a vegetarian, whether you're vegan, whatever that looks like for you, that is in alignment and serves your business, right? And then ultimately, you get to this place because you're owning who you are, you're honoring that why, you're shifting things out of the way. Like, you've created all of this space to step into, and you end up in this very kind of effervescent space of feeling called to share, right? So in the beginning, when I was talking about creating and taking steps and setting goals from that place of lack, right? Like, I don't have the clients that I want. I don't have the revenue that I want. I don't have the visibility that I want. What I want is out there. Let me go and get it, right? Let me fill something that's missing in my business. At this point, when you go through the host and you're at this point where it's time to get out there and just take inspired action, you are doing it from this place of fullness, from this place of generosity, from the clarity and the ownership of how very much you have to give in the world. This is a totally different place to be living in your business and in your life from. So if anybody's ready to show up as a host, let's get a heck yeah. So how's this landing for you?
I'm living and I'm loving it. And I also am living for, right, you giving the clear process of exactly what steps to take. That it's, first thing that drops in for me that I want to celebrate about what you said, Andrea, is how throughout all of the points that you made, you took a note of how we're hearing so many things in surround sound versus integrating and embodying them. So I want to celebrate that about your approach, sister, because woo, so in alignment with you. This, like, what I love about the entrepreneurs that we serve, right, who are out there, they have big visions, right? They're ready to make shifts in their industry and in our world. We want you to do that. And yes, that takes a lot of inspiration and mindset shifts. But the great thing about that can also be a bit of the dark side of a constant attachment to acquiring more information rather than taking, as you said, aligned action. And that's what I'm hearing in what you said. Am I on point? Am I hearing you correctly?
100%, 100%. I think at such a young age, we really do get taught how the answers are outside. We get disconnected from our intuition. I have a 6-year-old, right? And I've watched this happen over the years. The clarity and the conviction and the boldness that she moved through life with when she was 2 and 3 and 4 years old. And I just kind of see it slipping away as she's getting older and older. This is kind of just part of the human condition, I feel, that we kind of like lose ourselves. And I actually had a really fantastic conversation on my podcast with Dr. L. Carol Scott recently about like that first period of 7 years in our lives and the transitions that we go through and the evolutions that we go through that kind of shape our personality and shape our identity and how we get to our businesses the way that we do, which is a fascinating conversation. I could have these kind of conversations all day. And at the same time, it's not about always going outside of ourselves to look for those answers. It is about returning to that confidence that we had when we were really little people, that we knew we just had the answers inside of ourselves, right? So that shift your perspective, that's like slowing down to give yourself time to be able to hear the answers. Because the older we get, the busier we get, the more running around we're doing, like the more we're trying to achieve an outcome, and we're not as adept as we could be at slowing down and hearing that inner voice, right? So I'm a huge fan of whatever it is that you could do to jump off the hamster wheel for a few minutes, right? Like whether that's meditating, going for a walk, whatever that looks like for you, lots of journaling, really feeling those feelings, really allowing yourself to work through the wins and the losses, taking the time to celebrate. I mean, how many of us in our businesses just don't even pause to take a breath to celebrate the wins before we're on to the next thing, right? I mean, just all of that. And so all of that compounds, to go back to your original question, and affects your energy in massive, massive ways. Like at the base, if we get that everything in the universe is made up of energy and is operating on some vibe, then it's our job. It's our job to tend to that, right? So like, what's the one thing that you can do today to cultivate joy in your life, to cultivate happiness, to cultivate a being that is in alignment with the things that you're seeking to produce, that you're seeking to manifest in your business, right? You can want the more customers, you can want the more clients, you can want the more revenue, right? Because of the outcome that it gives you, right? But how do you get in alignment with that thing now, today? Because if it's all energy, you have to be in alignment now with that which you seek to manifest in your business, right? Mm-hmm. So where can you clear out the space to make room for that new thing? Are there some clients maybe you're going to have to let go of? Are there some services maybe you're going to have to let go of? Are you going to have to like rework and retweak things? Are there some ideas and narratives and stories that you've been telling yourself about what's possible, about what the ceiling is, about, I can only make this much in my business, or I can only have X number of clients, or I'm a solopreneur, I can't build a team, right? Like whatever the thing is, you're not locked into it. You created it and you can shift it. So yeah, I'm here for it. All the energy.
I feel it. And I'm so happy to get to watch you riff, because this is like, my favorite thing is getting to witness, I believe, my tribe speak. Like, I believe that I have a tribe. I believe that I have a soul family. And I believe that we are all here in conscious universal service here on earth. And it's interesting how we're manifesting differently. And to get to hear it pour out of your mouth, I'm like, I know this woman. My soul knows this woman. And it's so fascinating. You were talking about releasing things that may be standing in the way. My accountability partner for years is Andrew Mellon, by the way. Hi, Andrew. I love you. Who's been called many times the most organized man in America. He's a best-selling author, and he always says that he's an essentialist, not a minimalist, as a professional organizer. He's an essentialist, not a minimalist, in that we were just on Clubhouse, literally before I went live with you, talking about this to a room full of people, that we don't want to declutter so that there's nothing left. Like a minimalist is just like, there's, just empty space and blank walls and that type. So he's not a minimalist. He's an essentialist. It's like we want to declutter to the point where only what is essential left so that you can go and take the action that you're here to make. And so sometimes we'll let things clutter up our lives. Stuff can clutter up our lives. Ideas can clutter up our lives. Beliefs, like as you were talking about, our mindset can start to clutter up our lives and get in the way of us taking execution and really expressing those gifts that Source has given us to express here on earth. And to pause powerfully, as you were saying, in whatever special flavor your powerful pause is, right? Whether it's through exercise, journaling, meditation, etc. That pause has a purpose.
Yes.
The pause is not just a recreational thing. Like back in December, I'll tell you, Andrea, on my Facebook page, I'm a provocateur at heart. And so I'll ask questions like, all right, what are they going to say to this one? I mean, obviously that's what brought us on the live, you and I right now. And the question that I asked, it was another true or false one, but this one exploded. Facebook actually shut down my account because it's like I just asked a simple question. It was really weird. Of true or false, meditation is a waste of time in the workplace. People should meditate at work. It's extracurricular. And that, where everyone's wow, but obviously, like there's a lot of our tribe of people who believe in mindset and energy, and that's false, blah, blah. But I was talking to Julie earlier this morning on LinkedIn about this. There's one guy who says, yeah, we train all of our team in transcendental meditation. And by the way, if that's you and you're watching, reach out to me, DM me. I want to have the rest of this conversation with you, brother. But we don't want them to meditate while on the clock. And it was interesting to hear that of like, okay, so meditation is important, that pausing powerfully of what you were talking about, Andrea, is important, but it's in a workplace environment, it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate.
Oh, that's interesting. I actually know and have worked with organizations that have built-in meditation times in their schedule. At 9 a.m., everyone meditates, and at 4 p.m., everyone meditates. Because here's the thing. Yeah, creating that time for pause. Now, I'm not saying every organization should create this, but I'm saying there is a way to create it if it feels aligned for your organization, right? Because when you are on the hamster wheel, do you do your most elegant thinking? No way, right? So that thinking that happens like right after you are done with your meditation is sometimes some of the biggest, like most awesome brain dumps that you get. They want that to happen when people are still on the clock so they can do that to-do list for tomorrow when they're coming out of being in touch with like complete essential being, right? So I get how that could be really powerful in an organization. I do transcendental meditation myself. Do you? It sounds like you do too.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's made a huge difference for me in my business. I actually didn't start doing it until it was like just over 5 years ago. And I was basically 5 years into my business at the time, which was I was a celebrity event planner. Talk about high stakes, talk about like picking up on other people's energy. I needed a way to protect my energy and set my boundaries, not only in that high stakes job and work environment, but also as a new mom. So, but what happened for me in this clarity that I got out of becoming a like actually dedicated meditator, showing up every single day for that practice, is that my business completely took off in ways, and I was able to let go of things that I had been kind of thinking about, like, oh, well, everybody else in my industry does this and that, so I do this and that too. But it hadn't felt right for a long time. It had felt like I was running at this pace that was unsustainable for a long time. I wasn't attracting the clients that I wanted, but I didn't know how to get the clients that I wanted, right? All of that really shifted, and it almost shifted on its own. But at the same time, there were actions that I took. Like, I got the confidence to redo the website, clarify the branding, step into visibility. After doing these high stakes events, like, I mean, I was more visible than I had ever been in my business. And that's actually what allowed me to now, as a business coach, see the power of mapping onto other people's celebrity. So that's what the podcast Powerhouse Masterclass is all about. I teach people how to map onto other people's visibility, how to step into higher visibility, their credibility, their thought leadership, and become more profitable in their businesses in a very streamlined and systematic way that can catapult their message, because ultimately it's about the dedication to the impact that you want to make, right? Mm-hmm. If you're somebody who's coming from that heart-centered, soul-aligned place of wanting to make a difference in the world with the work that you do, trust me, you're ready for higher visibility. You're ready to step into that energy. And that is another energy. And that is a whole other situation of limiting thoughts and self-doubts. And that's the one thing I feel like, and I feel like, Victoria, you really get this, like there's always another layer to work through, right? Like, no matter how big, like, you step it up, then there's another ceiling, then there's another space to grow into. And quite honestly, like, I feel like the people who embrace that work, who are willing to look at the stuff and not get stopped by the inquiry, right? Like, I can stay in the inquiry, I can have my meditation, I can have my journal things, I can notice things that I'm doing that are stopping me, but I can keep going and I can take action in the face of all of that, right? Like, that's what true power is. That's the ability to produce results in the face of whatever is coming at you, whatever your circumstances look like, right? And that energy, because every person who comes to buy from you is coming to buy some sort of solution or relief from something that they're dealing with, right? Whether you're a service-based or product-based business, you're providing some sort of answer to a problem that people are dealing with, right? What they're looking at, not only at buying from you, is not the actual solution that you provide, but the leadership, the process, the experience that it will be for them to get to that solution, right? Because they could work with somebody else and have a lousy experience. The person's not aligned for them. Like, like going from point A to point B just feels awful. That is not who that they're here to buy, right? So stepping into your visibility actually makes it possible for your soulmate clients to see you, to recognize that, oh my gosh, there's the solution I've been waiting for. Like, that's the person I've been waiting to buy from. And then to drop into your inbox, drop into your DMs, wherever you tell people to find you, so that they can have a conversation about how to just get on your roster.
100%. What I appreciate about what you're saying there is that it's your energy that does the selling for you. You don't have to be like some slimy, slick, super trained salesperson. And don't get me wrong, I am trained in sales and I train people how to do soulful sales. You don't have to be the car salesman that knows the Hey Baby line that sells the cars for $500, even though they don't have freaking like engines or axles in the front. Like, okay. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Being more of a radiant personality radiates the confidence that the person needs to know that, oh, I know that I'm going to buy, I can trust that person. And because I can trust that person, I feel like I'm going to buy from them. It's about, I think of one of my mentors, Myron Golden. Why do people do what they do? He teaches they do it because they feel like it. So if you can convey a feeling, if you know how to generate a feeling of getting people in the mood to interact with you or like buy, to date you, to whatever, everything is sales when you look at it. But
Oh,
if you know how to convey that type of a feeling by radiating it within yourself and being able then to transmit that, of course people are going to buy from you. Your energy sells for you. This is
yeah. Yeah,
this
because you align them with the energy of the solution. You get them into the feeling, right? When we're talking about manifesting and actually being in alignment with the things you want to produce in your business, your job when it comes to like soulful and energetic sales is to align them with the energy of the outcome that they seek. That's it. That's it. So you end up becoming involved in the sales process as much more of a listener, as much more of a receiver of their energy and what they're dealing with. And then just get to like, diagnose the situation, give it back to them and like let them, show up as that mirror. Because honestly, at the end of the day, everybody just wants to be seen. Everybody just wants to be understood, right? So when you can give it back to them and let them know, I got you. Like, I am receiving everything that you were saying. Here is what it looks like that you're dealing with right now. And here's how we get to where you want to go. And where you want to go is this. And I know this because these are your words. And here's how we do that. I mean, sales, it ends up becoming like a kind of like more of a love fest than like a sales conversation. Right?
100%. Oh my gosh, Andrea, like, goddess, this is the tip of the iceberg, and I'm telling you, like, I am so glad we met. Like, sister from another Mister, hello, and I want to also anchor us back in on time because I know like you got to run and I'm going to my next meeting. So honoring time and bringing our energy to a close. I am so grateful that you stepped forward to weigh in on this topic of true or false. Your energy has nothing to do with your level of sales and productivity. Sounds like we have a big fat false, and I love it. I love every single piece of this. Everyone, please make sure that you follow Andrea Freeman. Check her out on social media. And by the way, the reason why we are having this conversation is gearing up for my 5-day Be Visionary Challenge, which starts on Monday, everyone. So in the description box here around this video, there should be a link for you to register if you have not yet. And the reason why we're doing a 5-day Be Visionary Challenge is, okay, so you're at, if this challenge is for you, you're at the point where, like Andrea and I, you understand that your energy is important. You understand that you are a conscious creator and you can manifest. But for whatever reason, it's not consistent. There is a lack of consistency. And how I approach this in our 5-day challenge is with holding you accountable, us holding each other accountable, actually, on every single day, just for today, for 5 days. In Reiki, we always say just for today. That's it. We don't want to think past this, of being the vision that you see for yourself. So just like you were saying, Andrea, getting into action. Day 1, we take action around being the visionary in your body. So how does a visionary stand? How do you feed your visionary, right? Do you feed your visionary like chips and crappy coffee and sugar and that's it? Or do you do something else, right? That type of a thing. Be visionary. On day 1. Day 2, we go into visionary storytelling. So our words are what create our reality. How would you tell the story of your business and who you are, what you do for people, if you were on the TED stage versus, I don't know, maybe I come sometimes, so blah, 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 or maybe I'm gonna, no, right? We want to make sure that you're in your visionary and practicing that and being it on day 2. Day 3 is about fueling your visionary. This is all about your emotional fuel. So we were talking about energy today. And what I like to think about energy is emotion, how you're able to generate positive feeling. And that's what fuels you, gives you the ability to be magnetic or charismatic and to make the connections with people. On day 4, that is about visionary structuring. So do you have the environment, the systems, the team, the tech, the automation, so that when you step into the structure, boom, visionary things happen.
Mm.
And then on day 5, we are going to go into visionary aligning. So this is directional of what you, to your point around, Andrea, of knowing what your why is. If you aren't aligning to your why throughout the day, how are we going to see the vision happen? Right. And so that is the summary of what we're going to be going into. Excited to see everyone in the Facebook group, on Zoom, and in the streams. It's a free challenge. So go ahead and hit up that link wherever it is in the description of this stream. And that's what we were ramping up for. I'm so excited. But like, it goes live 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday and each day throughout the week. So thank you again, Andrea, for sharing so abundantly with my community. And I'm so excited to get to meet yours. And I know this is like conversation 1 of many.
Yes, for sure.
Like, I'm going to have you on the podcast, etc. The Journeypreneur podcast is my podcast. I would love to continue this, or in however we can. But are you up for another conversation?
Oh, we definitely need a part 2 for sure. Maybe even a part 3. I think this might be a lifelong conversation.
All right, Ed. So it is.
So it is.
Awesome. So thanks again, and everyone, thank you for watching. Mwah, big love, and we'll see you in the next stream. Bye for now.